Friends, welcome back. Been a long time, unfortunately, through unintended consequences, and I have to say, it has been doing my head in. My painting desk has basically been offline for the last 3 weeks or so, and that was very challenging. Some good did come out of it. I managed to pull my painting desk apart and give it a really good clean, which was good. Organise some things, chuck some things out. Thank you, Captain Carp. But yeah, it was an unfortunate, unintended period of absence, my friends, and I apologise for those people who sit at home pining away for a bit of big dinner of an evening. But given that there's probably only 3 of you, I'm sure everyone else has been okay. But in good news, we've got lots of wonderful things to talk about. And I'm sure Andy is very, very, very excited about tonight. He's been frothing. Actually, I might just go see if he's ready to go yet. Doesn't look like he is, but there you go. Whoa. All right. Yeah, so I'll leave the exciting stuff to talk about with Andy. But how good's Ted Lasso going? Holy cool! It's just magnificent. I am every week. I started playing touch football again, but every week I'm saving myself up to get home and watch Ted Lasso. I'm just like, oh, it's the best. What a great show. Yeah, I might be all that you get. Dun, dun. And yeah, guess this might well be it. No, so for those that are wondering, what basically happened is my air conditioning shut out. Lost the plot. And so I had to get it replaced. Which sounds in and of itself like a simple task. However, the air conditioning unit in question needed to be replaced, the entire thing. The unit, the thing above, outside, everything. Well, in case you didn't know, air conditioning units that are fully ducted sit inside the ceiling. So the process was quite involved. What had to happen was they had to come in and cut apart the roof, disassemble and remove the old unit, install the new unit, and then over a period of weeks they had to put back in the roof and then repaint it, etc., etc. Now, the first delay came from the air conditioning unit had a small part that needed to be fabricated. So they came in on a Monday, they tore the old one out, they tore the roof apart, and then they tried to put the old bit back in, but it wasn't right, so they had to then send away to get it fabricated. So that took about a week. So the following Monday, they came in and installed it. Now, the problem is, and you can't see this, thank you Match Fixer, you can't see this, but it's literally above my head. Now, while this is happening, the roof is off, and there's no light here. So the plasterer had to come back in, and he had to redo the roof, remake the roof, which again, doesn't sound like a massive job. It was a big job, And the reason it was a big job is because of my stupid fucking desk, which is sitting right here. We couldn't move it. I could have moved it, but I didn't fucking want to. So the guy is hanging over the top of my fucking desk. He's trying to put shit. So plasterer comes in, puts the roof back on, then has to seal it, then has to sand it, then has to paint an undercoat, then has to paint a second coat, then has to come back in and reinstall all the electricals. Thank you, Mick Back. So all of those things had a time period between each of them occurring. So he installed the new stuff, great. He sanded it all down, great. Every one of these times there's a period of time in between it before I can actually get back to the desk. Now, I managed to do a little bit of painting in between, but I had no light above my head. I only had my desk lamp. And I had no electricity for a couple of bits there as well. I had to turn electricity off. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I finally got the roof back together, everything painted, and I was able to get the desk back set up. The biggest issue was that I have my camera rig, which is actually not fixed to the desk. So while they're doing all this, I had to pull all of the electronics off the desk. I had to pull the microphone, the camera, both sets of lights, and then my rig that actually has my camera. So all those things are gone, and it would have been really, 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 really annoying for me to have to put them on and off over a period of several weeks. So the job got finished officially yesterday. And it's still not quite right because there's a latching that's got to be done. But the air conditioning works, the roof's back on, the light's working, and all my gear's set back up. So we're back. We're back at long last. It was a difficult time, I have to admit. This is the first time I've painted in, I reckon, 2 weeks, and I'm enthusiastic about it. I was so enthusiastic about painting that I went online and ordered some stuff from a wonderful friend of the show, Stonebeard Miniatures, to start preparing a project for the Guild's Inn. It wasn't that expensive, no. Well, I mean it was, but no. It wasn't that expensive. Not for me. Immortal Hulk! Outstanding Hulk figure, friends. This is an outstanding Hulk figure. Now, I spent a couple of hours chatting to another Wargamer friend on a podcast the other day. It's called The Unidentified Wargamer. You can go and have a listen to it if you want. It was a very fun chat. I talked a lot about my gaming career and then a little bit about my painting career. But if you, if you want to understand a little bit more about Big Dano's gaming habits, proclivities, Unidentified Wargamer. Only released today. Heaven knows I've tried. No. Alright, next thing to talk about on the list after Ted Lasso, which is wonderful. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Who's seen it? Big Dano has. I went and bought the Guardians of the Galaxy and MCP. After it. Tremendous. No, look, it was good. obviously won't spoil anything for your friends, but it was an ending of sorts. In a really good way, and the story that it told was one that opened up some of the backstories of the characters a little bit further, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it would probably be significantly better than number 2. Maybe not better than number 1. I didn't end up seeing Dungeons and Dragons. I wish I did. I might still be able to actually, but no, I missed that one at the cinemas. Heard great things. Oh no, Jenna, you've gone heavy there, mate. You've gone heavy. See if we can recover it. Which Dungeons and Dragons are we talking about? Because the original was absolute hot garbage that I still have fond memories of watching. Straight up hot garbage. I did a wonderful job preparing this model and filling seams and gap lines and everything. Absolutely perfect job of it. There was absolutely nothing of the sort done. Haha, Jared. Hello there, mate. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yes, no, it's been good. I'm excited to be back at the painting desk, mate. It's been far too long for me. Excited about getting stuck into some new projects. The plan is that we are gonna bring some stuff down. I don't know if that will be the full kit and caboodle, mate. I mean, I've still got to fly down there, haven't I? But yeah, we'll bring some fun stuff, I think. Assuming Jim sends me my fucking models that I want to buy. Guy thinks he can just go and gallivant around the world and not send me my models when I want them. What a dickhead. Alright, Alright, I think that might do for the moment. I think he said they're going to be open by Friday or Saturday, mate. Is the plan. When I spoke to him and gave him a spray for not being open. Pistachio. Oh, how good. I genuinely missed it, friends. I was just agitated to come back and do some painting, but every time I felt like, oh yeah, it's going to happen. Something new popped up with the thing, and I couldn't. So. But I did get into the MCP tournament again. Had another little event, which was nice. Get back in and play a game. I used spider foes for some reason, which was good. I came second at the tournament. The dude who came first played Midnight Suns, and he played this big fella, the Immortal Hulk. It's a new release for MCP. It's a Hulk. Another Hulk. In terms of rules, he's got a few different rules, but he still smashes things, as you would expect. No, honestly, I haven't even really read his rules that well. I just bought the model because he's a Hulk. And it looks cool. It's a big green machine. I think they've done a couple of MCP figures now, which have been versions of characters. Like they've done a Red Skull. They've done MODOK. They've done this guy. Done Amazing Spider-Man and Normal Spider-Man, and they're actually based on like comic book stuff. Because most of the design of the figures has been very much Marvel Cinematic Universe design aesthetic. You know, some of them pretty much look like they're actors. So, yeah, this is probably more of a nod to a comic book moment of some description, which I don't really know what it is. Sky blue, love the all of you. Got to tell ya, soundtrack, Guardians, been in my head for 3 days. They know how to pick some good tunes. Yeah. Look at this wonderful mould line here. I can absolutely tell you though that I've not really taken much time with any of the mould lines on these figures. I just made a decision that I wasn't here to fuck around with perfection on these figures. I just wanted to do fun, interesting paint jobs. Love the all of you. Ooh. Maybe I will, Jimbo. Jimbo just sent me some new stuff that's coming out of the model. It's good. Alright, what other exciting things have been happening in the last 4 weeks? I think I played one game of Touch before my last stream, or around my last stream. I've played every week. I've managed to do myself a mischief pretty much every week, including some just outstanding bruising, potentially a broken rib. I've pretty much pulled a muscle in every game, hobbled off at the end of the night, and I've had the most fun I can remember having in a long time. It has just been excellent. I don't know how many seasons of this I've got in me, but I'll enjoy it whilst I can. I got got some aspirations to paint some cool display models. I've got a couple of ideas for stuff that I want to try and do for Guilds In, and then we've got Queensland Model Hobby Expo coming up in August. So I've got a few pieces that I'd like to work on between now and then, but the one that I'm really pumped for is this Cyberpunk City, but I just don't think I'm ready from a lighting perspective. I don't think I've got the knowledge that I want to have, which means I've either got to devote some time to it or reassess my goals. And at this point in time, I'm feeling like I might need to reassess my goals. Or get some help. Well, the plan that I had for the piece was a lot of electrical wiring of things. I wanted to have a lot of little LEDs and light up signs and what have you. So that's the main thing, basically. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you know what I envisage in my head is a cool cityscape, neon signs, flickering and neon lights, street lamps. Yes, I know that, champion. I have got a soldering kit behind me, mate. I remember that whole fucking soldering I did on my vampire diorama with the moon and shit. Problem is, I'm not talking about just basic stuff. I'm talking about crazy stuff. I know I can do basic stuff. Don't fucking start. Don't fucking start with me, mate. Obviously, what I'm worried about is the stuff that I don't know about. There is a lot to soldering and electronics, and the gung-ho approach of a big deno project is maybe not so much. Takes a lot of planning to have enough power and enough cables running to where they need to be running and all those sorts of things. I don't think I can just full deno it, you know? Well, I mean, if we want to take it to extremes, I could burn my house down when I incorrectly solder something. I mean, that's not something I'm really concerned about, but could happen. Honey Bunny! Hey, hey! How's Shatterpoint going? You lucky dog. Yeah, no, I'm gung ho about a lot of things, but I don't think that soldering and electrical work is something I'm going to be too gung ho about. Just quietly. The models I'm really pumped for, and I saw a new paint range coming out from I think it was AK actually, that are an enamel range that are doing some fluorescent pigments. But they're like enamels, and so they're also like glow in the dark. So I want to incorporate those paints so that when we turn the lights off, turn all the lights off, the piece will glow in the dark like an actual cyberpunk city. That's my vision, right? And I can see it in my head. I can see the end result in my head, and I don't want to rush elements of it. I feel like the most important part is actually not the figure painting, it's the design of the city and the way that the electronics are wired so that it looks unobtrusive. Because I figure if I can get that bit right, everything else is just going to come together. Like I can paint the models, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember if last time I was streaming I'd spoken about Welcome to Wrexham. I'm not sure. Maybe feel like I had, but if you haven't watched it, it's a fucking wild story, an absolutely wild story. Yeah, so when the lights turn off, the paints glow in the dark, which is awesome. But they look enamels. They look like enamels. So I don't know. I need to try them. Basically, I need to try them out. Fuck. I was so excited about painting this guy. And he's just so much fun. Everything about him is fun. What a great figure. Whoa! Immortal Hulk! There's been some criticism of the design team for releasing this figure when there's like other figures that they could have released. The number one that people talk about is of course the Fantastic Four. What I don't think people realise is how heavily Marvel controls the release schedule of products that are affiliated with them. Like, they tie in things like this to movie releases. There is no way that this company would be able to do Fantastic Four without the licensing, without everything syncing up. I've been here before a few times, and I'm quite aware we're dying. Come let me hold you, touch you, feel you, always kiss you, taste you. Yeah, do you want to know when the aircon shut itself? The heat wave that hit Brisbane, it was 40 degrees, and my hotbox of a house was not a pleasant place to be. And it was literally that exact time, and I was just flipping out. I was like, you gotta fucking get that shit done. By the time they installed it, the heat wave was gone, and it was just very temperate and normal. And then now, literally today, it's like a fucking cold wave's come through. Well, you're not going to believe this, Jared. You are literally not going to believe this. Because I didn't really believe it either. But it happened. My apartment block got struck by lightning. And I know it happened. And I can prove it. Because there is literally a picture on social media of my apartment block getting struck by lightning. Some guy was over the other side of the shopping centre and was filming the storm, and there is a fucking photo of lightning hitting my building, and we heard a loud bang, and then the air conditioning stopped working. So That was fun. But yeah, it was the worst possible time. Well, there was a number of people whose TVs went out. And a couple of lights and stuff, but yeah, you know me, Jared. I'm not really a very talkative chap with my neighbours. I just sort of do my own thing. But yes, I did hear from the body corporate lady. There was a number of other things that happened. So yeah. Crazy. Fuck, it was the worst timing though. The heat wave was literally like the next 4 or 5 days. All night, always touch you, always, always. Okay, let's go. Alright, and now we do the bit that makes me look like I can actually paint, but I can't. Oh, hello there, Andrew Buckley. Oh, getting old. You're joining us tonight? You're on, mate. You're on.
G'day, mate.
Oh, g'day.
G'day.
What's been happening?
Oh, well, we just had a quick month off.
Just a cheeky month off. It was unintended, mate. I tell you what. And I've been fanging some painting too, so.
Well, I'm glad we're back.
Yes.
Nice time to digest a month of what's been going on.
You're excited to talk about Golden Demon, aren't you? You are just pumped.
Mate, you're excited to talk about Golden Demon. You brought it up. I think there's definitely plenty to talk about, man. What do you think?
Oh, it was a Golden Demon that restored a little bit of my faith in Golden Demon as a thing.
Alright, I'm just going to make sure the setup is alright. It's been a hot minute since we did this little, this thing. I've got to make sure we're all tickety-boo. The saying that I only grew appreciation of as I grew in age, actually. As a younger fella, I thought tickety-boo was the shittest old man saying. But my mate Shano always used to say it. So. Bonjour, wee bix.
Hello there, Weetabix. Oh, look at that. How good is an airbrush? Just makes me look like a much better painter than I am.
How good is Chuck Sprays, I believe.
Chuck Sprays. The man, the myth, the legend, Chuckinator.
No one cuts like Chuck. Chuck's great.
Chuck Spriggs, painter at law.
It does sound like he could be like a highwayman or a sheriff, doesn't it? The name's Chuck. Chuck Spriggs.
Oh yeah.
So what's the go, mate? A month has been off. I'm sure you've explained to everyone the
I have,
deal
yes.
in which you found yourself in.
I did, yes, and the frothingness to paint, but no, it's good. We're back. I'm excited. Keen to start diving into some real serious projects for the guilds in, because we are 2 and a bit months out now. What are we in? May, June, July? Yeah, no, probably under 2 months. No, May.
Yeah. Just over. Maybe actually a little less
Yeah. So I've got 2 months to put together something good. Yeah, I know. I forgot my tie. I'm obviously out of practice, friends. So.
now. Listen, the shirt's well undone, so some might suggest that's party material. So what's been good, mate? You've had a month. You're getting ready. You've been itching to pull the trigger on painting.
I have, yeah. I have been really keen to paint, and I haven't been able to, which has been very, very frustrating. But
Why don't you talk us through that, mate? Because that's not always a thing that you have to face.
what?
If ever.
Frothing to paint.
Yeah, frothing to paint and not being able to.
Yeah, it was difficult. Like I was really agitated, and I also found myself really struggling a little bit with it too. Like I was like, I really just want to fucking paint a model, and I can't. And the times when I did sit down, they never felt like an actual proper session. I just felt like I was, futzing around with shit.
Trying to get a fix rather than to achieve something.
So it was very, very annoying. But we got through it. I couldn't even sort of paint and hang out with you guys. I saw you on there a couple of times. I was like, oh fucking hell, I wish I could, but I couldn't because my painting desk, nothing was set up. So it was a trial and a tribulation. But it did actually give me a real sense of appreciation for being able to paint. I was like enthusiastic about getting on to paint tonight, and that felt really good.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, that's the whole. You've got to go to come back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, we had a nice catch up there. So we all haven't been in the biggest of paint spaces, I think, in the last little while. I certainly can speak that for myself, but I think there's been we were discussing this last night. I think there's been we've gone through in a bit of an adjustment period with having additional events on in the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Combined with international guests and things like that, it felt like some downtime after events needed to be a little bit longer this time around than it was the year before.
It does hit you surprisingly, doesn't it? My CanCon experience, as you know, is one that's very draining, and usually takes me about a month to get back into it. I mean, we went straight from that pretty much into ARC, which was amazing, and we had a wonderful time. And then we went straight into, well, not much, but I think that whole extended period created a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of pain.
Yeah, well, I guess it didn't start at Crimson Rush because it started when classes came in, international guests came in 2-3 weeks before CanCon, right? And then it sort of took all the way till about a week and 2 weeks after ARC, so... Which in all is roughly sort of probably close to 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's over 2 months, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's something that I definitely experienced for the first time was a lack of discipline, I want to say, in regards to wanting to sit down and display paint. I still tried to keep as active as I could
got to tell you,
hobby
discipline
terms.
discipline is the right word, mate, because
Yeah.
a lack of motivation is not an excuse to be undisciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that, Andrew. Well said, mate.
Well, and I'll tell you, I picked up the brushes yesterday for the first time with display painting in mind, and I suffered for it. You know, I suffered for taking 2 months off. Like it felt like coming back from a distance away that I was not prepared for in a way. I'd probably liken it to if you play sports and get an injury, you know, and you come back from your injury and you're not really operating at the level in which you were before.
Or you take 8 years off and come back as a 40-year-old.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Play touch football.
Yeah.
That's a great likening.
You know the skills are there, but you're just like, wow, where have they gone?
How do I find them?
Yeah.
You know, how do I bring them back?
Yeah.
So what did you do with your with all the time you found free?
I didn't do, and this is the frustrating thing, mate. I didn't feel like I achieved much in that time because I'm not a patient man, and I'm not a man used to not getting my way. You know, living by myself and you know, being an attractive, good-looking bloke with lots of money, I can just do whatever I want. And when I want to paint and I can't, I fucking struggled, man. I was pacing the house sometimes.
Like a caged animal.
Yeah, I was just like, let me fucking at 'em, you dogs. But
yeah,
that's I managed to get a little bit of board gaming in, which was nice.
Did you play a little bit of Marvel?
Yeah, I played MCP, played a couple of MCP played a tournament, and then I been playing. Yeah, obviously the board games continued, which was great. So I got stuck into a few solo games of various bits and pieces. But it was a period of time when I wanted to paint and I couldn't, and that was frustrating, but also pleasing that I still had the desire to do it. You know.
Mm-hmm. And even an increased desire when it was
when it was taken
removed.
away.
So that's if anything, that's probably a really nice affirmation.
Yeah,
affirmation. Yeah, that's
affirmation's a good one.
That's the right
yeah,
word.
mate.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I certainly missed our weekly hangouts and missed hanging out with everyone in the stream. And,
I'll also
and having a good chinwag about all these wonderful painting topics that we like to gasbag about.
I will also call that out because I really feel like we're on a good roll there. We had a good routine. We were talking about interesting things. It felt more like a podcast. It felt like, you know, we were having a really good rhythm and
riffing away.
Yeah, just died.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll bring that back. We had plenty of things to talk about. The topics that we left on, we can pick back up on.
Indeed.
Two dads, one stream. You know what? I love that Bondo.
Little Bunno coming in hot and heavy.
Did you see she tagged us as her two hobby dads once in I think a couple of times in photos from Arc.
That's good. I like that. As long as she doesn't actually call me daddy.
You wouldn't hate it though, would you?
No, I wouldn't hate it. No, it'd just make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing for you every now and again. You know, getting a little bit back what you like to put out on people on occasion, my friend.
It's probably true.
So how did you played in some Marvel? How did you go?
Yeah, good.
What was the results?
Had a wonderful experience. I played Spider Foes. Just felt like playing something fun and widely considered shit. Came second. Had a wonderful time. It was good. Did
you have any stars of the show in performance? Anyone get up and do a good showing?
I wanted to play Rhino. That's why I decided to play Spider Foes, and he was awesome pretty much every game. He had a game where he had a really terrible matchup, which was against someone who fucked him with mystical attacks. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but he was really great. He was a lot of fun throwing stuff around, stealing people's toys, and then running away. Really good. Enjoyed him a lot. Always found the hit and run style of Green Goblin very, very fun to play as well.
Mhm.
So he was good. He only had one game where he underperformed, which was the game I lost.
Throwing cheeky pumpkin bombs at people, or goblin bombs, or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Are they called
just
pumpkin bombs?
yeah, pumpkin bombs. Yeah, just dropping pumpkin
Yeah.
bombs and flying away and
Yeah.
stealing people's objectives, and then again running away. It's good.
Nice. And did your mate Simon? Did he play in the
No,
tournament as well?
no, he
He's up there with
didn't.
you?
He didn't. Oh, Nipsey, he didn't play in that one, unfortunately. Have I told you I call him Nips? It's a long story, but yeah, we call him Nips.
Sure.
No, Nips couldn't make it, and I was upset about it. Neither could my other mate Dodgy, and he is actually playing Web Warriors. So the reason I wanted to play Spider Phase,
The matchup.
yeah, the matchup for theme, mate. But no.
So you can lean into some exquisite Spider-Man content. There's been some wonderful Spider-Man reels flying around recently. I don't know if I sent you it. If I haven't, I'll track it down and send it on. It's a particularly saucy one that gave me a good giggle.
That's
It's
why
nice to see you participating in the
No.
real game now, mate.
No,
You're
no.
an avid reeler.
No, this is. I tell you what. This is the other thing that no painting did to me. I was just aimless. I was like, what do I do? So I just sat on the couch and scrolled reels for 2 hours, and I laughed quite a bit. I'll be honest, but it didn't feel productive.
No. Well, that's why you need to set up a really good reel circuit, right? It's like an underground. I think everyone's got one, right? Let us know in chat if you've got a real, a real underground, where you're sharing a bunch of reels with your mates. Because if you set up a good one, a quality one, then you don't have to grind for the reels, right? Everyone is trading in exquisite reels, so you're only getting top shelf, top quality.
No, I sat there the other day, and I was like, my God, the last 2 weeks has just been me trawling reels, and I feel terrible. I feel like I've wasted my life. That was how bad I felt. So I made a call the other day. I'm not gonna do it I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be 20 minutes max.
Yeah, Bunny, absolutely. I can believe every part of that statement, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, you filter TikTok for Ben and just give him exquisite, the exquisite taste of Bun's TikTok. Yeah, I respect it. I feel like a good percentage of it's going to be Korean boy bands. Yeah, right. So, so no painting, super excited about painting, and now we are painting the new Hulk. Is this
Immortal Hulk.
just because, or you've got a list you want to play with him? Or a roster you want to use?
Yeah,
with
definitely want to play some Midnight Suns, which is his best home. I think Midnight Suns could actually be my favourite affiliation to play. Led by Blade, and that includes a couple of other my favourite characters. You can play Doctor Strange, you can play Ghost Rider, and now you can also play this guy. So I may dive into some Midnight Suns. I may not.
Who do you like to put in Midnight Suns as your off affiliation legends? Does the Hood get a showing in your Midnight Suns lists, or any of those sort of can be present in many different lists type characters?
One of the things I like most about Midnight Suns is you don't really need to, because they've got a lot of good answers in affiliation. The only weak point really in the entire affiliation is actually the leader, which is Blade, and he's not bad. He's probably a half a point overcosted. But yeah, I mean they got Ghost Rider, they got Moon Knight, they've got Doctor Strange, they got Iron Fist, and they don't feel like they're lacking in any one area.
Are they going to get the new Ghost Rider as well? There's a new Ghost Rider coming, isn't there?
Yeah.
It looks like the front of his bike's a weird meteor or something like
Cosmic Ghost Rider, apparently. He's a dude from... It's actually Frank Castle, I think.
As Ghost Rider.
As
Okay.
Ghost Rider, yeah. I think so, anyway. No, I think he's going to be Guardians affiliated and maybe Defenders. No, not Defenders. The other ones, Guardians. What's the other one?
Speaking of Guardians, have you seen Guardians 3
I
yet?
have. Have you?
I absolutely have.
I enjoyed it a lot. I
thought it was thoroughly impressive and a good return to form for a brand that has probably not really lived up to its expectation after the last arc or the last phase. I think they like to call it, right? So.
yeah, I think it's struggled a bit over the last little while, but I will say that I don't think the films have been as bad as people think they've been.
I would agree with that as well. I think we've pretty much at the end of at the release of every of the new films, once we've both seen it, we've sort of had a little chat about it on stream, and most of the time they've fallen into somewhere like a 6 or a 7, right? Like
They're just fine.
They've not been horrendous. They're just fine for the most part.
But no, I for me that was easily better than Guardians 2.
Yep.
And really felt like a strong balance of origin story as well as progressing the plot along. I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. And again, the only criticism I could level at Marvel films is they so often feel like they always just set up for the next thing. But that's just comic books, isn't it? That's just how they work.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, and it's business 101 too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's, you don't want to keep your audience engaged and coming back. But, you don't have me on here to not ask the spicy questions. So here we go.
All right.
Maybe this is not a spicy one, but everyone will want to know this regardless. How many times did you shed a tear, big man? Because
in the film, ooh.
Yeah. Because you don't shy away from the feelings in film.
I'm not shy of a weeping session in a film. It's pretty much everything else that I don't cry at. Twice I cried in the film. Twice. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we won't ruin it for anyone, so we'll have to talk off stream at what those 2 times were. But I think I've got a pretty good feeling about that. We went in a group of 8, and I think we had a 50-50 split of waterworks and not.
Yeah.
So that was yeah. No, I'm glad you've seen it. We'll have to have a good chat about it. Maybe we'll save it for a few streams down the track once more people have had an opportunity to get out and see it. But no, highly recommend going and seeing it. It's a pretty good, pretty fun ride. One thing I will say about it is it had a very erratic pacing, and I think it was very intentional. And I like this idea that James Gunn's been playing with. He did it obviously with Suicide Squad 2 as well, but like that erratic pacing kind of it challenges you in a new way that not a lot of films, I guess, or at least not a lot of Marvel films do. And I feel it kind of puts you off guard a little bit and kind of forces you to. It's sort of like riding a roller coaster that you might not necessarily have sort of signed yourself up for, right? So I don't know if you noticed that too much, but it was something that I was sort of feeling when I was in there.
I didn't feel that way, but now that you mention it, I still don't feel that way, but hey, kudos to you for picking up something.
So, what's going down in the chat? What's been everyone been cracking on about before I joined this evening?
Oh, we're just talking about how we were hoping you wouldn't turn up tonight.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, we just had a boring chat about Ted Lasso, my favourite show, pretty much ever written, that you still haven't watched.
No, I shan't be watching it either, I don't think, mate, in all honesty.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. I mean, It's not like I don't know anything about you. I don't know the things that you like, and I'm confident that it's got nothing in that show that you'll appreciate. So,
Just carrying on like waffles. Yeah. So, who's that? Who's that person in the chat there that has subbed for 23 months? Thank you, superstar, for subbing 23 months. Absolute champion.
23 months from $2. Well done, mate. Just think you could have contributed that money to something that would have made your life better, and instead you've given it to me. Well, you've given 50% of it to me. You've given 50% to Twitch.
50% of it to Twitch, and I'm here for the Twitch. In all honesty, I like to support the companies that I think.
Yeah.
Bundo's at 25. Get wrecked.
Hey, buddy. Good job, mate. Wow.
Well, I'd be interested to see who is the longest sub for this stream. You got any punters you think would be in there? Any names you'd want to throw in there? Is Wampa in there? He might have a big long term.
Wampa's probably the go. I can check it, I think.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
No, I'm not sure, mate, and it's a little bit boggling my mind that we've been around for that long. Hey, like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man, and I think what's really cool is watching it once you get like progress as well, like watching your projects progress that you choose to do, your interests, the different people coming along, who becomes more vocal as time goes on, all of that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool part of streaming, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a whole percentage of people who are probably a little bit saddened by the fact that we don't have you sing as much as we used to.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. But, what's that? Is it in Step Brothers where he's got the voice of an angel? It is, isn't it?
That's fucking been a long time since I watched Step Brothers. Jesus.
Whoa.
Oh, Bunny.
Bunny has just pumped you.
What are you doing? What are you doing to me, Bun? I love you. You're a wonderful woman. Thank you. Call me daddy.
Give me the nose.
Oh, fuck, it's been so long. Well, there's a little boy waiting at the counter of a corner shop. He's been waiting down there, waiting out for days, dream walking, and now they never stop. He's been pushed around, knocked to the ground. He gets to his feet and he says, "What about me? It isn't fair. I've had enough, now I want my share. Can't you see? I want to live, but you just take more than you give. What about Bunny?" That'll do.
I can tell that Yana is incredibly comfortable with you nowadays, because she could have heard you singing comfortably through the headphones, and she just shut the door on you.
Thanks, Jub.
Oh, Jubbers. Yeah.
Thanks, Jub.
Benny's been summoned. Indeed, you have, mate.
Hello, Benny.
It's pretty cool to see, speaking of some Atomic Mass stuff earlier, it's pretty cool to see Bunny and Ben doing some Shadow Point stuff.
Yeah, I was
doing
just
some content creation for that. That's super exciting.
I asked Bunny about how it was going, and she gave me a very firm, "I've done nothing, you dog," so shan't be asking any more questions about it. No, it's awesome. I mean, they're Star Wars nuffies, right? So they're right people to get into it. I'm not. There's one of the dudes up here. His name's Morgan. He's very good MCP player, and he's frothing. He keeps asking me, "Are you going to play Shatterpoint today? Are you going to play Shatterpoint?" I'm like, probably not. But maybe I will. We'll see. It looks fun. What I've seen of it, it looks fun.
Yeah, we should never close doors before we at least walk through them once, right?
Oh, mate, never were truer words spoken. Now, speaking of truer words, I got two quotes. Well, I got one quote that I'd like to share with you.
You better not be stealing my one.
And one quote that you shared with me that I think is lovely. Yeah. And I want to share that one with the stream because I really enjoyed it. Now, I can't really remember it, so I obviously didn't enjoy it that much, but I enjoyed it enough.
The one that I sent you is one that I want to use for the jam session. So I guess if you're not coming to the jam session, then you're not going to hear it. Well, maybe you will. Maybe we'll share it on the stream because
Oh,
it
yeah.
is just a quote and anyone can
I'm,
find it.
I'm,
But it's a
defi-
very good quote.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely sharing it. I'm definitely sharing it
yeah.
right now. So,
All right. Well, I'll bring it up then if you'd like.
all right. So if you're
It's
doing,
actually no. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. I would not be an honest man if I didn't share it because all credit to the man that sent me this, who comes to the stream, which is old Bear Cave AU or Big Bear or Bear as I like to call him. I think all of his students and mates call him Bear too. But Bear is runs a dojo where they practice a form of karate. Spare me, Bear, if you see this and I didn't get the form right or didn't.
Doja Cat Karate, I believe it is.
Yeah, but he also teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. And we were having a discussion together as Bear comes down my way to visit once a week, and we spend some time together discussing painting and assisting with his painting coming along. And I was doing what I do best, which is ramble my thoughts. And Bear so elegantly said, "I think I've got a quote that perfectly matches some of the things that you and Deno talk about on stream, and maybe sums it up a little bit clearer." And so the quote is this. Quote is, "Winning is not the goal. The goal is to achieve the performance required to win. Winning is the outcome. Many dream of winning, but very few dream of performance. Very few win." Now, this quote comes from Anthony Pirosh, who's a BJJ black belt and former UFC fighter, and it's plastered in his gym. So, tell me how you feel about it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's a fantastic description of what I think people get wrong in, I want to say, life. You know, we always look at the result and we go, that's what I want. I want that result. But we don't think about the behaviors that lead to that result. And it's eating the elephant one bite at a time, right? Or climbing the mountain, as we like to call it. You need to start thinking about the behaviors that will enable you to succeed and not the result, because the result is, as we've discussed on many occasions, in some cases it's out of your control. What is in your control is the behavior, the way that you conduct yourself, the decisions that you make. And yeah, I just think it's a really great quote that highlights where many people go wrong.
So we discussed this quote yesterday, actually, in a bit of a hangout, and a few perspectives were given on this. What I love about this quote is that it's a multifaceted quote, and it has lots of stuff inside it. And the opening sentence, or the opening line, "Winning is not the goal," does not discredit winning in any way, shape, or form. It does not. It does not take any emphasis away from that either.
Here's a way
here's
a way I can explain that, because you've just gibbered about it. When we talk about board games, right? The objective is to win the game. The goal is to have fun. Right? So the goal can be independent of...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But in this circumstance, because it ties back with the last line, which is very few win, the context of this quote is actually winning, right?
Yeah.
It is a conversation about winning. Or a quote about winning, about how to win, or to how to go about winning, and how winners actually win, right? So in reference to anyone who is thinking about entering painting competitions in the future, this is a very powerful quote that you can use to remind yourself of what it takes to win a painting competition. For people who are not necessarily interested in painting competitions, but more maybe interested in just bettering themselves and their skill sets, it's a quote that can be used for that as well. And of course, you know, you sort of summed this up, I think, in the first statement you made about this, which is that it can be applied to life as well, right?
Yep. It's funny, the timing of me coming back on stream is quite auspicious. I got on a podcast the other night on Friday night. I recorded a podcast with a dude about it's called Unidentified Wargamer. Apparently he thought I was a wargamer that needed a little bit of exposure.
Yeah.
And he asked me if I wanted to be on the show. I was like, hey, sure, mate. And then there's a dude I played a game MCP against. And I said, oh, hey, by the way, mate, did you sort of know who I am? And he's like, no, what do you mean? I was like, well, I've played a few games, mate. And he's like, what do you mean? And so we started talking about it. He's like, oh, shit, I didn't realise. And then, yeah, it was a really good chat. But one of the things I talked about was how to win and how to be successful in wargaming at a high level for an extended period of time in pretty much any game system. And it was not, this is what you do to win. It was, this is what you do to improve. Right? And that's, again, exactly what your quote is talking about. It's behaviour. Behaviour is what drives a result. If you're focusing on the result, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You put your time and effort into the behaviour. The result will come. It might not come straight away, and it might not. I mean, to be real, it may never come. Because that's out of your control. But what is in your control is your behaviour and what you do. I literally did pull the "Do you know who I am" card. I think I even said that exact words. Do you know who I am, champion? And he was like, "No, who are you?"
Yeah, and so I guess the thing that probably resonated most with me on this quote is very few dream of performance.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where where winners actually win, right? It's the people who are totally and utterly in love with the grind, the journey, the climb, however you want to say it, whatever, cliche sort of line you'd like to use.
Yeah.
But that's the answer. It's just that simple.
Yep. 100%. 100% simple. And I was very fortunate to be very successful in miniature wargaming for an extended period of time. And it was never because I was strategically more capable than anyone else. It was because I had more effort put towards it than pretty much anyone else. And that's the difference. Effort.
Is it not just, it's not just about the action of more effort. I think it's the love of the putting the effort in as well.
Yeah.
Right? It's about, because if you don't enjoy that grind, then you have to ask yourself, is this something I actually want to do?
Which is where I ended up after a while, right? I was like, am I still enjoying waking up every day and the first thing I think about be War Machine? And if the answer is no, what the fuck are you doing? So, yeah, it's an interesting quote that I like a lot, and I feel like many people should take that quote and learn from it.
Yeah, and as I said to you, I particularly hope. Did you just knock me out of the camera?
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did. That's
Sorry,
right.
champion, you're back.
No, there I am. Yeah, cool. It's going again.
What?
As I'm sure you figure it out, but my face is not important anyway. And the reason why I sent it to you very specifically, if you remember, was that I want for the Australian painters who come, and I mean for everyone obviously, but particularly for the Australian painters who come along to the stream and often tune in to as a means to stay connected with painting and stay connected with growing as a painter and potentially competing in our Australian events. It's something that I want them to really embody and think about. As we have now, I think, succeeded in establishing events in the country. That was a goal of ours. I think the next step now is to start to encourage the people attending and the new people attending to increase their skill set and push themselves. in an endeavour to increase
Standard.
the standard across the board. Um, in turn, increasing people's skill sets. So, yeah,
Good one. Good one. Good quote. Good chat. Now this quote, it's just one that I love, and I just don't know if I've ever shared it on the stream before. It's my probably my favourite quote of all time, and you may not have heard it, and I don't know how applicable it is for everyone in terms of their actual lives, but allow me to share this quote. It's by Theodore Roosevelt, who used to be a president of America or something, I think. But anyway, this is a quote. I'm going to read it out. I love it. It's great. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat.
it's a sound banger, isn't it?
It's a fucking banger! I love it. Every time I read that, I'm just like, oh, yeah, get in.
Old Teddy.
Yeah,
He
Bunny's...
was quite an interesting character.
Bunny's got a good
Teddy
one.
Roosevelt.
No, look, and the basic gist of that, right? If you want to get serious, it's we're not here to fuck spiders. That's the genuine gist of his quote. It's have a go, you weak fuck.
Well, and I think a little bit about it is as well is like, you have to be in the arena to have an opinion on the arena, right? You have to be in and amongst it,
Yeah.
and I think for the broader painting community, that's something that probably needs to be reiterated a little bit more, if I can go on a little side tangent there, because it's a community that has an incredible amount of opinion, and there's not always a lot of action coming from people with opinions in this space.
Let me broaden your perspective there. It's not the painting scene that has opinions. It's the miniature hobby in general, and it's the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the internet, it's the fucking bane of most people's existence, and they don't even realise.
Yeah, very much so. Speaking of a hot internet topic this week, we can wonderfully totally segue that into
Golden Demon.
Obviously earlier this week, where we had Warhammer, or last weekend we had Warhammer Fest on in the ever interesting town of Manchester. Very close to where I was born in the world, just up the road, in fact.
Quite love Manchester, actually.
Manchester's got a great vibe. Great music scene in Manchester. I think multiple musical genres have been birthed out of that place, so it's pretty cool.
That was
the last time I was there in 2019 and had a good time. When was the last time you were there, mate?
Oh, yeah, it's probably a little bit before that, but not much before that. That was where I was going to live. When I was going to
I do remember you mentioning that. That was when you were going to take the job.
Games design with Steamforged.
Yeah.
Would have been awesome. I'm sad it didn't pan out, but better to love than not.
Obviously, congratulations to anyone who may watch these streams back or whatever if you entered the competition, and then congratulations again if you managed to either achieve a finalist pin, a commended entry, or of course a coveted trophy.
All right, controversial statement number one.
Yeah.
Highest quality Golden Demon I've ever seen.
Agreed. Not controversial. Fact.
Controversial statement number two.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no doubt in any part of my mind that the Slayer Sword winner is 100% correct.
Controversial only because Secret Workshop or Maxim's miniature was equally stunning, and I think it was just in the end a combination of stylistic choices and maybe some overall pageantry that was done a little bit better on Albert's behalf with a really stunning bass that he did. That really didn't just look good, but added to the piece as a whole. Whereas Maxim's bass was probably a little bit more subdued, which was solid choice for the piece, emphasising the piece a little bit more. How do you feel about that?
I think Maxim's piece was incredibly well executed, wonderful piece. But the piece that won is just ridiculous in so many levels. It's just Albert's, like every piece that I've ever seen of his, because he takes so fucking long to do one, right? He bangs out 2 a year and he's having a good year, but those pieces are probably the most technically executed pieces I've seen. Like, you know how we talk about Colwell's execution, right? Colwell is a very, 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 very good technical painter, and I think Albert leaves him for dead.
I'll disagree with you on that statement.
Okay.
And the reason why I'll disagree with you on that statement is because it's not the technical skill that Albert may, as you say, leave Dave for dead. It's the everything else that Albert does combined with his technical capacity that culminates in him delivering basically a phenomenal piece every single time he paints.
Yeah.
Because he tells a wonderful story. He has a range of colours that he leans into that are always like just that doesn't seem to be like he puts a foot out of place, if that makes sense. I think still to this point, you could make a strong argument that his entry should have won gold in 40k last year and should have been in serious contention for the Slayer Sword as well. I think you'd be really hard pressed to dislodge that statement there that I've just made.
Yep.
And if you were to, it'd be purely based on personal preference.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
So congratulations to Albert, because it was a stunning piece. It was a piece that the piece that he chose to do was like this wonderful culmination of old high elf.
It married the old and the new in a respectful way. It was a perfect example of executing old school Games Workshop, vibe with the new figures and the new approach. It was jaw dropping.
Yeah. And it'll go down as one of the all-time greats. And in turn, is this Albert's first Slayer Sword, or did he win one for his Orc way back in the day?
It's his second. His first one he won in 2006, I think.
It's the Orc, the larger scale Orc that was running, that he won it. You would argue, because I think that was a Spanish one, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was a Spanish one.
Yeah. So you could argue that. I mean, I'm certainly not going to speak for the fellow, but if I was in his position, this one would probably mean a little bit more.
I think this one is the most prestigious Slayer Sword to have ever won. Personally, we didn't rave about the standard of the last Slayer Sword over in America. The guy who won, we were like, yeah, it was pretty good and it was fine, but we weren't buzzing about it, right? The stuff popping up on my feed from this Golden Demon was just unbelievable. The whole time I was like, what the fuck?
Well, and just quickly to the credit of the gentleman who won the Slayer Sword in America, we were not raving about it because it wasn't good. Yeah, it was an awesome piece. It actually was probably one of those pieces that you had to be there holding in your hand to truly marvel over, because it was an incredibly technical piece. It was quite an astounding rendition of a Space Marine. But this one had something different.
Yeah.
So, trace that train of thought a little bit, right? So the highest standard of Golden Demon ever.
Yep.
So what do you think has impacted this Golden Demon to make it the highest standard of Golden Demon ever?
Uh, well, I think a lot of the European painters have um, really tried to push Golden Demon, or are inspired by Golden Demon. I, I couldn't pinpoint why it's happened, mate. All I know is I'm happy that it has, because
So I've got two theories, and I feel like they're pretty sound. But if you disagree with me, then we'll have a good conversation about it. Hopefully, the people in chat can get involved as well and share their thoughts and feelings. But my first one is that a lot of incredible painters at last UK Golden Demon, or at this point, I'd really like it to just be called the European Golden Demon,
yeah,
didn't win.
yeah,
Or didn't necessarily win the award they wanted to win.
yeah,
So I think that there was almost a global poking of the bear.
yep,
I'm going to cite Arnau's
Arnau,
post,
yeah,
where he had said he wasn't really entirely happy with his results from last year, and although he loves that piece, it is what it is, and he wanted to come back stronger than ever this year, and he certainly did so, winning gold in the diorama
with
category,
that wonderful Mephiston, yes,
yeah, with the Miss Piston fighting a
horrors,
series of pink, blue, and there might have been some brimstone horrors in there as well. And there was a few other, I think, sort of people. I think David Aroba certainly doubled down and put forward some pretty incredible entries this year, and was rightly awarded for his efforts. I think we both agreed before really getting a strong glance at Albert's piece that David's Orc in the open category
was
would
ridiculous.
would have been the odds-on favourite for Slayer Sword. Now, since Richard Gray actually released a video recently of his experience at Golden Demon, and actually did a wonderful breakdown of the event. So cheers, mate, because that was awesome.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's really, really good. He actually doesn't just break down the experience of the event for himself, but he actually takes you through step by step through what the event actually is.
Oh, yeah.
So just a few little ones. Commended entries are higher than final spins.
Right, yeah.
Commended entries are effectively, and I liked how he had referenced that commended entries in his mind are basically like you've won, you've been good enough to win a medal. It's just you didn't win a medal on the day. Do you know what I mean? If you're only going to have a first, second, and third, they're being pulled from the commended entries pile. So if we were to port over into open, they would certainly be in the category. Most likely, anything that was commended is probably a gold medal, right? In open categories, so or open judging format. So I really appreciated him laying that out, because that cleared up a little bit of conjecture around what is what. Also, there's obviously a bunch of stickers that are stuck onto the cards. That painters and people spectating often are trying to establish what they mean, and he goes through and clarifies what they all are, which more often than not they are just markers for the staff to understand what's been happening with the piece. Whether it's made it to the next round, whether it's been judged or photoed, or has something special about it that needs to be seen, or so on and so forth. So yeah, he did a really, really great breakdown of that. He had some really interesting feedback and criticisms, and something that I really also appreciated from him was a strong emphasis on understanding when you go to these events and you look at these models in the cabinet, and you might be wondering to yourself, how did this beat that, or how is that not being judged like that one is? When miniatures are painted, they're painted under a specific lamp and lighting specific to the artist, and so the miniature is never ever going to be in its best light unless it's in that environment again.
Yep.
And so Golden Demon is not presented in this way. Obviously, it can't be. So you often may be seeing a miniature that's presented in a way that's incredibly unfavourable to it, and in some cases, even with the photoing, could be really not advantageous
To
to it
go
as
on a
well.
very very small side tangent, the photo that they took of my Athena for Arc Open is really really overexposed and shithouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the photos there were bangers, so it ties into your point. They can't always get it right. They're not always going to get it right. That's okay.
Furthermore, even not outside of photos, one of the suggestions that he had is that the lights were so like amped to the nines, they were desaturating everything, and really washing out entries. So it's just something to be mindful of when you spectate miniatures for everyone. I know that I've spoken to a bunch of people in Australia about when they see things in the flesh versus when they see things on camera, and there is almost a responsibility. I feel that I have to debunk this nature that because it looks different in your hand to what it looks like in the camera, it's somehow not as good.
Yeah. Oh, Lusty Co-Star wants to offer us some stuff on our channel. What is it that
Nice.
What is it that you want to offer? The
We've got
price,
to go to doghype.com.
Bunny. I was reading that.
Bunny is relentless with her moderating skills. She's the
Jesus.
moderati.
I was excited to read that and click on the link and
Oh.
get in. Boom, gone.
She's like sitting in like those like anti-air guns, just shooting down trash as it comes across the sky. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah. So Richard Gray just had some great comments and perspectives on the event. And I think everyone should get over and have a look at that because he really does.
Is he? Was it a YouTube video or was it a Patreon?
Yeah, YouTube video.
I don't know that I fucking subscribe to him on YouTube. That is a travesty on my behalf. I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah. And he's a well-spoken guy as well, so he's easy to listen to, unlike the jarring sounds of my own voice.
The jar. Hang on.
So anyway, that was a giga tangent. Getting back to Demon. Is it the best golden demon ever? Well, yeah, that's the first point, is that I think the bears got poked and people came out utterly
Swinging hard for the fences. Yeah.
I also think you kind of hit on it, and this could be a little bit of tinfoiling going on, but has there been a cultural shift towards Golden Demon over open competitions because the coveted nature of the event combined with the awards given is much more sorted after than its contemporaries?
That is a wild assertion, Andrew, and I'm gonna entertain the premise, if only for an interesting discussion. If we assume that to be the case, that people have started to go back to Golden Demon and back to the competitive competition as the only way, or as a way that they want to have their skills recognised, is that having more value than winning a Monty or a whatever? That's possible. That's a possible statement. I mean, I obviously can't speak for those people, but I know that a lot of those painters that are attending these events, the Arnows, the David Arobas, the Alberts, those are guys that grew up.
Let's get that list going a little bit further, because we do sort of mention 2 or 3 names regularly, but there's some absolute studs who go. NRM Paints is their absolute legend. You've got Carl, who's entering, another really, really great painter. Slick Willie, I think, entered, in the US ones.
Angelo DiCelli.
Yeah. You've got the Sam lenses of the. So there's lots and lots and lots of really great painters. In fact, I would just go ahead and say right now that there is probably more. I think Miniature Dano's been entering them. There's tons, like whether it's streamers, YouTubers, professional painters, people who are just passionate and in love with painting.
Is it that these painters recognise that this event probably provides them more exposure than any other event
where you're taking it.
In the world.
Love where you're taking it. Let's take that. Let's push that one step further. Yeah. One step further. Is it because it's not just exposure, but it's the fact that for social media, Warhammer does infinitely better than almost anything else in the space. That you would just be, if you were building a brand and building yourself, is it just the thing you need
have
to do?
So I'll use a selfish example here, but this is not sour grapes, right? Dave Cole and I started painting and getting serious about painting around the same time. He and I had a similar Instagram journey, right? We were both mid-teens around the same time. I think I had about 17,000. I think he had about 14. And Dave went on his Space Marine crusade.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave just posted Space Marines for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dave has now got 40,000 followers or something on Instagram. I don't know, I haven't checked in a while. And I've got 22. He just basically doubled my Instagram growth. Now, admittedly, I haven't been posting much on Instagram. G'day, R2 Gaming Graphic. But
hey, Guppy, and also a little bit more to that. Dave also posts across multiple platforms. You only post on Instagram and your own personal Facebook page. So Dave does more effort in terms of promoting himself and promoting it. But there is absolutely no doubt that the level of growth that he had was also to do with posting Space Marines. Now, I've been vocal for many, many years about my dislike of painting Space Marines. And that's okay. I stand by that. Do you genuinely dislike painting Space Marines, mate? Or is it just something that you've done so much that you just don't have a desire to do anymore?
It's that, yeah. I've painted a lot of fucking Space Marines.
Yeah. And there might be a world in which you paint Space Marines again.
Well, right? I'm absolutely confident I'll paint a Space Marine again. I'm confident I'll paint a lot of stuff again. I'm not going to write myself off of doing something that's fun. But there is absolute truth in the fact that if you are building a brand and if you are someone whose career is dependent on how well you are known in social media and how attributed you can be to this hobby, there's got to be a perspective of those people that just go, you know what, I need to win a golden demon at an event like this because that's what'll get my name out there. That's what'll make people take me seriously.
Yeah, and it doesn't just extend to winning Golden Demon, although that's the topic at hand, right? It's almost all things. If you want to cultivate a following, if you want to create content, if you want to do, like YouTube or podcasts or whatever, like if you were trying to do all of those things and do them away from the Warhammer space, it's not going to be easy.
Look at Louise from Rogue Hobbies, right? She's obviously got the backing of Games Workshop, Warhammer TV and stuff.
She built it. Yeah, I think she had a following before she joined Warhammer, but obviously it went through the roof when she was working with the company, and then
she left.
It's got even bigger now.
She left and set up her own YouTube channel, and she's got 55,000 followers in about 3 weeks. Now, there's absolutely no universe where someone who'd painted a fucking Monty Sansevino winning piece could turn around and set himself up a Patreon or a YouTube channel and be like, hey guys, come and check out my Patreon, and have 55,000 fucking followers in that period of time. Not possible. So the answer is, and this is potentially a selfish, no, not selfish, jaded perspective, that those people have chosen to put effort and emphasis on this event because they know that is where they will get their return on their investment of time.
Now, if we were to say that alone, I think that's a false statement, because I do think that they are, I think in all honesty, so many people who are connected to miniature painting have a fondness for Warhammer.
I absolutely don't think that is the case for the majority of people that we've just talked about. I don't think that. I think what drives them is the desire to continue to improve themselves, right? And one of the ways that you can measure your own improvement is by how well you perform at an event such as that.
So is your hot take right now that a lot of the people that are entering, or that we've spoken about that are entering these events, are not Warhammer fans, but are just participating in the event for other purposes?
Uh, No, I think of all the people we've spoken about, they're all Warhammer nuffies.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure on David, but Lucas Pina, he's a Warhammer nuffie. He used to do fucking Tale of Four Gamers back in White Dwarf in years ago.
He's specifically a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Nuffie,
he's
right?
a fucking he's an absolute
Rings,
nuffie. And then obviously, I don't know if you know this.
Lucas Pina for winning a golden demon.
Yeah.
What an absolute one that was.
He's a Chad. He's an absolute Chad. But even Albert, mate, like Albert collects artwork from Adrian Smith from old school Warhammer. He
actually has a YouTube channel now, doesn't he?
Does he, Albert?
Yeah. Adrian.
Oh, Adrian. Yeah, Adrian does. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I subscribe to it. It's pretty cool. He does a lot of the artwork for like Hate and stuff like that, I think.
Oh, Adrian
Smith. His work, it's awesome.
Oh, he's one of my favourite artists. He does some amazing stuff. Yeah, the board game Hate is him. He actually is also the artist for some of my favourite games. He did Rising Sun, he did Ankh, and he did Blood Rage. He's the artist behind that. It's a collaboration between Adrian Smith and Eric Lang.
Two of your favourites, absolute studs of the industry right there, isn't it?
Absolute bangers, mate. Absolute bangers. So, what an interesting conversation, Andrew. I'm not sure that we've painted those people in the best of lights, and I think it's fair to say that we don't know their motivation for entering those things. I can only speculate on the motivation.
Like I was leaning towards. I absolutely think that they're all incredibly passionate and enthusiastic Warhammer fans and collectors. Whether you've been introduced to those painters through other channels, in which there's probably been a high chance you have, being if you come to this channel, and this channel predominantly focuses on display painting, or all painting, but has an emphasis on display painting. Then the names that we've mentioned, you may well know through those channels. So seeing those names pop up in Golden Demon is quite interesting. What's very funny is when you talk about people who don't know display painting and they see these names winning, they just see them as names.
Yeah.
And that's what I think's really funny. They don't realise that these people own companies, professional in every manner, all sorts of stuff.
And are absolute fucking studs.
Studs and generally all around really nice people too. So. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's no secret that the competition was absurdly good this year.
Yeah.
Like, it was off its head.
Yeah.
I think they had 400 entries alone in single miniature, so the judges had their work cut out for them. Do you think the judges got it right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, there was not a. I mean, I don't know what wasn't pictured, right? I haven't gone through all the commended entries or the pins or whatever, but when I looked at the 3 placings in each of the categories, I felt like they were correct. I felt like they made sense.
Yeah, there was nothing egregious, was there? There was nothing you were like, oh, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Now, bearing in mind, again, earlier said, like, you have to always paper it because it's a photo, so you don't really know what it's looking like.
Yeah.
An interesting one, by the way, quick one. The last thing on Richard Gray has popped back up. He also made it very clear rulings that the entries in Open are not actually a part of the Golden Demon competition. The Open category is not a part of Golden Demon. It's to the side of Golden Demon. So I'm not sure if you are eligible to win a Slayer Sword from the
You
Open
definitely
pool.
aren't. You definitely aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, because Games Workshop
you-
staff are entitled to enter Open category.
Yeah. And you also don't get a trophy. You get the plaque.
That used to be, you used to get a trophy for Open.
You did, yeah. And there also used to be a staff Slayer Sword back in the day as well. There used to be a separate sword for staff.
Look at this, bro. I've got Ulik, the troll. I've got fucking Ronan the Accuser. Ronan.
Very cool. So couple of really cool things. Good on Games Workshop for listening to the community. Taking some video footage of some of the best entries and also showing photos of commended entries is a step in the right direction. I think that's pretty awesome, and it shows that somebody's listening. So good on the community for speaking up about it, and good on them for listening and making some adjustments. I think I'd love to see a world in which that feedback can be provided as well, but with that many entrants, it's actually just impossible to do unless they open it up to a format well known to us. Isn't that right, Trent? Being the both open format and open judging that we do at Crimson Brush.
Indeed.
Where you can tune in and see the judges judge. But again, I've used Richard Gray's video a lot, so he was there. I'm going to emphasize a point that he raised, which is you're in a room with some of the best painters in the world who are all super friendly people. If you're polite and ask them to have a look at your miniature and maybe give you some feedback, the odds are they're probably going to do that for you. So you should take that up. Is that sort of it? I think we've covered Golden Demon pretty well. I think it's been talked to death about over the last couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, I'm just once again humbled about the fact that we live in this era of incredible miniature painters, and the huge amount of content that we have, which is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we get to learn and improve, but it's also a curse because it makes people think that they can have an opinion.
Yeah. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Once again, 2 hours, Immortal Hulk. Boom, boom.
Immortal Hulk in 2 hours. The Trent classic there. Trent special.
Easy,
you said content. Just shamelessly going to slink on in here with a little bit of content. I think last week or the week before, International Fantasy Figures published an article on the Crimson Brush. If you would like to check that out, you can either buy it in hard format or digital format. Wonderful David Corwell has wrote an article about his journey and experience at the Crimson Brush. There's a ton of awesome photos in there. It's great to catch his perspective on it. He talks about his experience judging for the first time and the overall feel of the event. There are a few little things that aren't correct in there in regards to where some pieces were shown placing in different spaces. Some, for example, some might have been commended and it's been put in bronze or vice versa. Everyone is aware of that.
This is what happens when David does the article and Big Deno does not. That is all I'll say.
In future, we need to get some proofreading going on. Because there was some hiccups there, but all in all, it's actually a great read. And if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. That's the International Fantasy Figures magazine. That was a pretty cool achievement, my friend. Actually, if I'm being honest, seeing all of our stuff published in the mag was pretty cool. What did you think about that?
Oh, that's the third year that we've had that in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Did we have it the year before as well? Oh, dog! Didn't even know about it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool. Yeah, we've had our stuff in there for 3 years. 3 years in the hop. Good little thing. I'm keen to get back into this painting malarkey. I'm going to go and order some bits and pieces from Jimbo tonight, and I'm hopeful that they'll arrive by Friday so we can have a new project.
What are you cooking?
Well,
what are you cooking?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't think we can share that at this juncture, mate. It's a secret project.
I see how it is. Have you got some names on the board, mate? Have you got some heads that you're looking to hunt? Has a fire been stoked so furiously that Trent Denizen, the man who has never been afraid to show the world what he's working on, is going into the bunker and working in secret?
I will be painting everything live on stream. I just don't want to give it away. But because you've just called me out there, I'm going to show you anyway. Oh, there's that great picture. Very good. Yes, in case you... No, here we go. This is the projects or the pieces I've ordered from Jimbo. Let me go top to bottom. I might actually just go to Stain Bit and I'll show you. I think it's probably the go.
Yeah.
Stain Beard Miniatures. Done. We can all see what I'm
Welcome back, by the way, to Stone Beam Miniatures, Jim and Reed. They've just returned back from their 6 weeks away and got married.
They haven't actually yet, because you still can't order from their website, the dogs. But anyway.
Well, yeah, they are definitely back though, so it was pretty awesome of them. I think they got married in Scotland, mate.
I do quite like Scotland. I'm quite partial to Scotland. If I was going to retire anywhere, it would be Scotland. All right, here we go. So, yeah, still on. Apparently, till yesterday they were on holidays, and now they're finished. But they're still not back. I still can't order. Chumps. No, look, let me show you. So this is the first piece that I just went for a scroll. This is my first piece.
You went for a little wander.
Yeah, had a little Bo Peep. This bad boy.
Great model. Box art painted by
Eric Swinson. Yeah, haven't painted a dwarf in a long time. Lots of good surfaces on this piece. Look at that.
You know, this was the last dwarf that you painted Angry Bird?
It was indeed, yes.
You had a really nice spicy take on Angry Bird.
I did, yeah. So dwarves are good. They're in my wheelhouse, I think. So that was the first one. Second one on my list is this one, but this is related to the Cyberpunk City project.
Yeah, it's for a diorama.
Yeah, this is a new model that they released that they didn't have at the time when I bought the piece. It's a diorama. She's perfect. She's going to sit in there.
It has to go in because you can put her up on the side on a building.
Yeah. Adds some nice height, so that's great. Very happy about that. Next one, and I could be convinced to add another one to this and do a double tap.
Yeah.
Is this one, Valeria?
Yeah. Recently painted by JC Paints in the chat.
Yes, but did he do the bust or the 75mm?
He did the 75mm.
Wonderful. So I'll do a better version than his.
There you go. A little friendly competition.
No. Look, that figure is just a banger, and it's a great excuse to really dive into some non-metallic metal. And I'm really excited for that.
Since you did a full suit as a single, you've done a few full suits, but they've been in big dios. Yeah. So
I may double tap with this chick as well.
Big held. Yeah.
So I feel like if I put these two together, that's a nice little duet for the Stonebeard in fucking thing, whatever it's called. And then the last one that I have on my list is I've literally painted all of these figures.
Yeah. You had Zog, didn't you? Is it Zog, the hero model?
It's this one. Yeah, it's the Black Crow.
Yeah, Black Crow, sorry.
This bad boy.
Did you see Black Crow's latest talk, by the way?
I did. Yeah, I did.
That's a sexy model.
I tell you what Jim, this is fucking shit. Oh yeah, alright, that's better.
David Aroba painted this one, did he?
Absolute banger. He actually did his he did some videos on it, I think.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 I want to buy, 5. But I fucking love those gladiators from Big Child. The 3 gladiators. Oh my god.
They are spicy.
That is like the Spartans. It's just that magical mix between fantasy and historical. It just fucking hits different. I love it. I think I'm in for that.
Clicking on all cylinders.
I think I'm in for some gladiators and maybe even some Spartans. But that's my plan. That's what I'm going to be ordering from Jimbo Jones. And
so the 2 things that I want from Jim Boss, and I asked for it before he left, but this will show you the relationship that Jim and I have. I asked him for a Cormac. I wanted another Cormac. And the is it Sword of Dawn? Is that her name?
Yep.
The 75mm samurai.
Yeah, Sword of Dawn. Yep.
What I received from Jim was Fenrir, the Ouroboros, or whatever the stupid word I can't say. Yeah.
Ouroboros. Yep.
Ouroboros. I think it's him. Oh no, it's not even them. It's the Abyssal Fenrir, the guy with the dwarf with the cannon on his shoulder.
Yep.
And another one of the Songs of War, the 75mm, the one with the big sword pointing forward. I think it was the first one.
Yep.
Yep. And that's what I got.
Good.
So, I love you, Jim. But I'm not sure I'll be painting either of those models. We'll have to get an order sorted out for the other things. I should also say though that these were also birthday presents that he just gave to me. So I was not, I did not pay for something and then get something else. It was just Jim having a bit of fun. So.
Flickster, you big champion. Aurora Borealis. Yeah, you're a legend, Flick. Mate, you've come in at the wrong time. I'm just about to finish up. Just did this little paint job tonight. Bingo, bango, bongo. Crazy Hulk. It's all good.
Well, are we wrapping up, mate? Are we going to have a short one tonight?
Yeah, mate. Just ease back into it. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be painting regularly again. It's very, very good. The air conditioning repairman did a wonderful job. It's still not finished. This is the painting area right here. This is my fucking roof at the moment. That's the air conditioning thing that's still sitting in there. This thing doesn't close now.
Yeah, right. So obviously I was trying to update everyone in the Discord as to what's going on.
But look at this. Look at this.
They were kind of like, what could possibly be taking this so long? But the house got dismantled.
All of this had to be pulled down. All this had to be pulled down. So yeah, so this entire roof here, ignore that light.
Excuse me.
This entire roof area, that's fucking bad. All of that got pulled down. The entire thing got ripped apart, all the way up to this line here, which you can probably just faintly see. The entire roof came out. This big metal thing that you can see actually extends the whole way across. It's about 1.5 meters. That was an old one that came out, and they put a new one back in. And then they had to redo the entire roof panel here. All the while, all of this fucking rigging and shit had to come down. It was outstandingly annoying. Yeah, outstandingly annoying. But and then even when the roof went back on, because it's a it's a thing that had to take a couple of times. He'd come back and he'd be like, okay, I'm filling all the gaps and seaming this. He's got to dry for 2 days. So he'd call me, he's like, are you home? I'm like, yep, okay, cool, I'll come today. Then he'd come and sanded it all down, then did an undercoat. He's like, cool, I'll come back in 2 days. He comes back in 2 days, then he does the first coat, and then he's like, I'll come back in 2 days. Then he does the second coat, and then he goes, I'll come back in 2 days. And then he put everything back in. So it was like a 2-week process to get the roof put back on after the dudes took 1.5 weeks to put the new fucking thing in. So
listen, I'm going to be straight honest with you. I've grown tired of this story just listening to it. So what you've had to go through.
Imagine living it, mate. Imagine living it.
Hey, when you sucked a thing in here saying, gang, I've had an idea. This is what inspired it. Let's have a look at what he's...
It's morphin' time! Fuck, I used to love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Alright, well, what's the context then? What's this idea that you've had?
Dun, dun, na, na, na. Go, go, Power Rangers! I fucking love Power Rangers. You know, back in the day when I was a little fella, I used to come home from school. Power Rangers used to be on at 3:30 in the afternoon. We had a VCR. I used to put my VCR in. I used to record the episodes, and I'd pause the recording when there was commercials, so that I would just have a full fucking episode with no commercials. I did the whole first fucking 2 seasons of Power Rangers. I had VHS tapes of Power Rangers the first 2 seasons. It was the best time of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Very common one for Dragon Ball Z Cheese TV watchers in the morning, if you remember, trying to get a copy of that going. So.
Oh, man.
It's a secret project, is it, Hundo Bundo? All right. Well, I'll be interested to see how you incorporate the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers into a piece. That's pretty interesting. I have been working on a piece from a time gone that's very conceptual and just has a lot of gimmicky effects and things on it. So I'm in a much better place with it today. I'm looking forward to as we hang up the stream, getting stuck into that and having a play around.
Let's go raid on Alchemist Models. He's doing a Terminator commission. He's got a bald melon. He looks like a bloke who needs a bit of help in his life. So
Alchemist Models. He's a British fellow, I believe. He's got a pretty big stream, actually.
Well, he's bald as a badger, mate. So Someone help.
Well, in fairness, mate, most of my mates at this point are bald as badgers, and I wouldn't hesitate to say that you might be going that way soon,
Mate,
old fella.
Advanced hair, yeah. That's never going to happen, mate. It's never going to happen. Oh, jeez, I hope it doesn't happen anyway. All right, where's my raid button? There it is, raid channel. Alchemist Models, start raid. All right, friends, so yeah, Andrew and I will be back next week. Very excited to have you all with us.
We'll be talking next week about the difference or historicals versus fantasy.
We will.
It's a topic we were going to be talking about before we were rudely interrupted by Deno's house literally falling down on him, basically.
And looking forward to painting on Sunday as well, which will be the American stream. So, see you all then, friends.
Peace.
Big Deno out.